What is going on, everybody? What is going on, the Catch fam? My name is Jon Dawson, and in today's video, we are hopping into another 2022 fantasy football mock draft. In today's video, we will be conducting an 8-team mock draft through the ESPN platform. This was requested by our boy Tyson. Be sure to let me know in the comments down below if you guys have any specific mock draft requests, and be sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you are new to the channel. We put out free daily fantasy football content, and at the moment we are running a free subscriber mock draft nearly every single day on the channel. And be sure to hit that like button if you do enjoy today's content as well. And we should be kicking this thing off in about 20 seconds here. So sitting at 1.6, really in an 8-team draft, I'm just looking for great positional value. So tight end becomes a little bit more valuable, quarterback a little bit more valuable, but you can still land a pretty dang good quarterback in later rounds because things are so thin overall. So I'll probably be looking to the running back position at 1.6, but there's a very good chance a receiver like Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase is sitting there, and I don't want to pass up a receiver that I have a lot of faith in. He also offers great value, and that's the thing with an 8-team league, right? You're going up against basically super teams on a weekly basis. You want a great RB1, you want a great receiver one, but there also comes a point where tight end just becomes really valuable, right? Where a guy like Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews is going to offer more value than anyone else on the board. All right, so JT's gone at 1.1. We'll kind of sit back and see what happens here, because if we go running back or receiver at 1.6 is really going to determine where we pivot to at 2.3. So Cooper Kupp goes at 1.2. We'll kind of sit back and see what happens here. I mean, I would consider Kelce at the 11th overall selection, no doubt, because we're not going to pick for a while in the 3rd round, but I don't want to lose too much value at running back. But gosh, already looking at things, man, Kupp gone, McCaffrey gone, and Eckler gone. There's going to be some really good receivers sitting here. If JJ slid through, there's no way I'm passing up JJ. I can tell you that right now. Let's go Chase. Let's see what happens. I mean, I will say through ESPN rankings, right, tight end is a little bit further back on those rankings. So I do think we have an opportunity to land Andrews or Kelce at pick 22. So let's pivot to the running back position after landing Chase as our first player at that 1.6 spot. I mean, I love Chase. If Chase, Jefferson, or Kupp are sitting there, then I'm probably going to consider one of those guys at the wide receiver position. Just on the outside looking in, I'd probably have Adams and potentially Debo. I mean, given how things may or may not go here in the offseason, then I like Diggs in that same tier as well. But I mean, really, Kupp, JJ, or Chase are just going to give you outstanding advantage at the receiver position. So we'll sit back and see what happens, and we'll start to target a running back for the 11th overall pick. So like I said, right, as Najee Harris is gone and Derrick Henry is gone to kick off the 2nd round. I mean, I would have liked to get either of those guys, but since they're gone, I mean, Cook and Mixon become my top targets. I like Mixon a tad bit more. Adams is gone, so this is a tough choice because you guys know that I've been really high on Mixon all offseason long. That would give us 2 pieces to that Bengals offense. Let's just do it. Let's just take a note, right? Cook is available. Swift has some nice upside. Even Lenny Fournette with the supposed weight issues. I'm still a fan of Fournette. I mean, you got Kamara, Williams, Connor. You got all kinds of backs here. Let's go with Joe Mixon. Let's go, potentially for a little bit of a Bengals stack. I mean, if there's any offense that I want to stack with, it's the Bengals or the Chargers. So I'm happy and just fine with Mixon and Chase. But we should take a note that we do want to diversify a little bit away from that Bengals offense, maybe outside of Joe Burrow if he does land to us at the right spot. So nonetheless, there goes Dalvin Cook at 12th overall, and we'll kind of sit back and see what happens, right? I would really like to land Kelce at 22 as Kamara is gone, and then I'll probably revert either back to the running back or receiver position at that 27th overall selection. So looking at who's available, I think it's a little bit too early. I mean, we still haven't wrapped up the 2nd round to really target a player. I mean, I like Mike Evans quite a bit, even with the news of Godwin potentially being ready for week 1. It's really hard for me to pass up on Evans. I'm really a huge fan of Evans, and I really like Keenan Allen sitting there as well. But the thing with both of those receivers is we can pay a little bit of a cheaper price for Chris Godwin at the moment, and a little bit of a cheaper price for Mike Williams. So looking at the running back position, I mean, if James Conner falls to 22, I would probably go Conner all day long. If Aaron Jones falls, I'd probably go with Jones as well. And in an 8-team league, I also like Barkley, who's got some boomer bust, obviously with the injury history tied to him. At the same time, Barkley and his upside and his ceiling are kind of hard to pass on. All right, so Debo went at 14, CeeDee Lamb gone at 15, DeAndre Swift gone at 16. Into the third round, we've got Tyreek Hill, who is a little bit further back on ESPN's rankings. And, like I said earlier, right, the tight end position for ESPN is a little bit different than other formats such as Yahoo or Sleeper, or whatever it may be. So you might want to take a note if you are watching this mock draft, and if you do draft through ESPN, that when you're doing these mock drafts, you might be able to land Kelsey or Andrews at pick 22 or 27, whatever it may be, in the fourth round, in the third, even potentially into the fifth in an 8-team league, although that might be stretching it a bit. Just keeping a note, right? Because those tight ends, there's a very high chance that they're not available in the third or fourth round, even in an 8-team league when it comes time to actually draft, because there will be fantasy managers who are going to go out and say, I want Kelsey or Andrews on my team. And there goes Kelsey at 20 overall, as we're talking about it, and Aaron Jones was gone at 19 overall. So I'm going to target Mark Andrews unless he is selected here at pick 21. And if he is, then we just have to completely pivot away from our original game plan, which we could live with, we could get through it, but I would really like to land Andrews here. And we are getting, and oh my goodness, there goes Andrews. He's gone. Say goodbye, man. And Nick Chubb is another player, just completely off topic here. Nick Chubb is another player who's really, really low on ESPN's rankings. All right, I'm going James Conner. That's been one of my guys all off season long. We'll pair him with Jamar Chase. Okay, so taking a little bit of a pivot here. This is good, right? We saw both of those tight ends go. Kelsey at 20, Andrews at 21. We got sniped at 22. Would have gone with either of those guys undoubtedly at 22. So now we're going to take a little bit of a pivot, right? Javonte Williams gone at 23. We see our first quarterback off the board at 24 to end the third round. Into the fourth, we've got Scary Terry gone at 25, and we're going to see one more player selected here. So for me now, I'm going to pivot back to the receiver position. For me, it's probably Mike Evans here. Let's just take a quick look. Evans, Allen, we don't want to go Higgins. We've already got two pieces of the Bengals offense, including Jamar Chase. Man, Mike Williams he's a nice value. He's a really nice value if we could land him at 38. So part of me wants to pivot back to the running back position and just go with Barkley. And there goes Barkley. So we're not going Barkley. No more. Let's go Nick Chubb. I mean, I don't understand his ADP on ESPN, but he's a little bit further back. So we're going to come away from the receiver position and just go ahead and go for a little bit more upside at running back. And then into the fifth round, here's my plan, okay? I want to see if we can land Mike Williams. I'd be really happy if we could. We'll go Williams over Keenan Allen and still secure a piece of that Chargers offense. And then I would really like to land Justin Herbert at 43 and get quarterback out of the way as well. So speaking of the quarterback position, as Mike Evans is selected here, in an 8-team league, I don't have a problem waiting a little bit longer for a quarterback. I don't have a problem going early at quarterback and securing a guy like Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. And then in a lot of instances, you're probably going to see Herbert potentially go as second quarterback gone, or just right in that tier, right? If you see Allen gone and then Mahomes, you're probably going to be expecting Herbert to go next. Some leagues you might see like Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray go, even Burrow in some leagues, or Hurts. But for the most part, it's going to be Allen and Mahomes, right? And then Herbert, or some sort of order, right? So I don't really have an issue going out and reaching for those players. But just keep in mind, there are going to be some later round quarterbacks that are going to offer a ton of value. I mean, you can basically go zero quarterback and still land Matthew Stafford or Aaron Rodgers, especially Derek Carr or Kirk Cousins, if you just wanted to go completely zero quarterback. But even earlier guys than that, Dak Prescott or Tom Brady are going to be available pretty early or pretty late on, as is like Russell Wilson. I mean, you've got a lot of good targets, and I mean, it's going to be a little bit different, right? Here's ESPN's ratings. You got, after Allen, you got Mahomes, Herbert, Jackson, Murray, Prescott, Hurts, Brady, Rodgers, Burrow, Wilson, Stafford, and Carr. So Burrow a little bit lower than some other platforms. Brady a little bit higher, which I don't have an issue with personally. And so, just keep in mind, there's going to be plenty of value at quarterback. But we said at the beginning of the draft, right? Positional value goes a long ways in 8-team leagues. And I do like the idea of going out and targeting a tight end at the right time and a quarterback at the right time. But if you miss out on Andrews and Kelsey, in my opinion, as we've seen Kyle Pitts also selected tonight, I think it's worth it just to hold off and go for, Kittle's a player who I would definitely take at the right value. But I do think it's worth it to hold off and see where you can land a Dalton Schultz or Dallas Goedert or Dawson Knox. And then if you don't land those guys, just go with Hunter Henry, Zach Ertz, Mike Gesicki, any of those guys, right? So we'll see what happens here. And man, we just missed out. On Justin Herbert. We got sniped again. Wow. Man, A.J. Brown sitting here. Let's go A.J. Brown. And then let's see if we can land Mike Williams. We're having to pivot again. This is good. This is why you do these mock drafts, because things aren't going to go according to plan when you go out and draft. So let's go A.J. Brown here. And then let's see if we can land Mike Williams at 43. Because that's, that selection becomes just a tad bit less valuable because we didn't land Justin Herbert. I mean, just a tad bit, right? Because Mike Williams is still going to offer a very high ceiling and a ton of value, right? So he is available here. We see Metcalf gone at 41 and Pittman gone at 42. So let's take Mike Williams. And we're pivoting a little bit, like I said, right? So we're not going with a quarterback or tight end earlier on. We're going to see if we can land Kittle at 54. If we don't, we're going to go after a Dallas Goedert and or a Dawson Knox combination. And then outside of that, I'm going for guys like Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts at this point. And once again, that could be a blessing and a curse. I mean, I think Mahomes is still available. If I'm not mistaken, he is. So if Mahomes falls out to 54, then I'll go Mahomes. But just look at the available quarterbacks after Mahomes and their rankings and where, how much time we have left in this draft. That's the beauty of an 8-team draft, right? Lamar Jackson's available, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, Brady, Rodgers, Burrow, Wilson, Stafford. I mean, we have plenty to choose from, but just having that nice upside in a Mahomes, an Allen, or Herbert will really go a long ways. All right, so looking at tight end, right, let's go ahead and let's queue Kittle up. And then the next tier for me is probably going to be Goddard, Schultz, maybe a tad bit above Goddard. They're pretty close for me, and Goddard you can get way cheaper. So outside of that, I still love Dawson Knox. We'll keep an eye on those couple of tight ends and see where they're going. Darren Waller sitting here as well, but I would personally go Kittle over Waller. Let's take a look at receiver. I mean, Deontay Johnson still sitting around. We're going to have a plethora of receivers to choose from in an 8-team draft. That's one thing to take note of, right? Running back, we look pretty good, right? We got Mixon, Connor, and Chubb. But it never hurts to go out and, secure another running back. So we'll kind of sit back. There goes Darren Waller. I'm thinking I want to go ahead and get George Kittle off of the board and then just keep an eye on the quarterback position. I think we can wait until the 9th or 10th round to go quarterback. So I think Kittle is my main focus here. Try to get, that upside at the position and that nice positional value. And then I think I'm just going to take the best running back or receiver into the 8th round. So I think that's our plan at the moment. It's been a great draft so far. We've had to pivot more than once and kind of change our game plan. That's exactly what you want in a mock draft, even if it doesn't feel great in the moment. If you guys are enjoying today's content, I do encourage and kindly ask you to hit that like button down below. Help give us that little boost in the YouTube algorithm. And of course, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel as well. We'd love to have you as a part of the Catch family. All right, so Waller finished out the 6th round. Into the 7th round we've got Johnson gone at pick 49. Deontay Johnson, a nice value there. And then Lamar Jackson gone at pick 50. There goes Dalton Schultz at 51. Brandon Cooks at 52. Will we get sniped, or can we land George Kittle, who's technically against his ADP here, but by far the most valuable tight end on the board? We did see Schultz get selected before Kittle, which I don't have a massive issue with. I mean, Schultz was tight end 3 in PPR last season. He had a very good year, but I just think that nice ceiling that you're going to get out of Kittle is something that I would look for in an 8-team league. And then at 59, as ETN is gone here, at 59, I'm probably just going to go with the best receiver or running back available. And Chris Godwin is very, tempting here just because what he brings to the table when healthy, you can't really overlook. We've already got a really nice start to this receiver room in Jamar Chase, in AJ Brown, and Mike Williams. So I'm thinking that Godwin, even if he misses a couple weeks, although we've got reports coming out from the Buccaneers that he might be ready to go week 1, which would be phenomenal, especially for a lot of my best ball teams, but that's besides the point. The value that we're looking at pick 59 is probably not going to be realistic when it comes time to actually conduct your personal fantasy leagues. But for the purpose of tonight's mock draft, I think that Godwin is my top target here, as Cortland Sutton is taken at 55 and Amon-Ra St. Brown gone at 56 overall. We'll see what happens here on the clock. And actually, we've got pick 57 was Darnell Mooney. So now we're on the clock with pick 58. We'll see what happens. I think for me, Godwin just offers the best value here. I mean, looking ahead a little bit, I like Renfro, I like Devonta Smith, although we've already got AJ Brown on this team, so I probably wouldn't go for Smith. I like Adam Thielen as well. So yeah, I think my main target here undoubtedly is Godwin, and he is available as Jalen Hurts is selected. So let's go ahead and let's take Godwin here. It's a really nice start to the receiver room. Jamar Chase, AJ Brown, Mike Williams, and Chris Godwin's absolutely beautiful. But with the selection of Jalen Hurts there, right? I mean, your main dual threat quarterback remaining is Kyler Murray. So I want to keep an eye on Kyler Murray and Joe Burrow. Those are my top rated QBs. And after that, Brady and Prescott. Then we'll keep an eye on Rodgers, Wilson, and Stafford. There comes a point where we're going to need to pick a quarterback, and it's probably going to be relatively soon. So if Murray is available at 70, then I'll take Murray all day long. No doubt about it. I really like the start to our running backs and to our receivers, and we've got Kittle sprinkled in there. I think this is a really good start to this team, especially with how much we've had to pivot. All right, so Gabe Davis gone, Jerry Jeudy gone, and Hunter Renfrow gone. All very good value here in the 8th round as we are approaching the 9th. Let's take a look. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more bench spots. I might consider another tight end in Goddard or Knox just because Kittle had some injury issues last season. But outside of that, we're probably going to need to go ahead and draft a couple more running backs. So let's get Mitchell on the queue. Tony Pollard, Robinson, A.J. Dillon, Rashad Penny, James Cook, Melvin Gordon, Henderson. Let's go for some late round guys. Algier. Yeah, we'll stop there and we'll see what happens. But some really good players still floating around. So Tom Brady's gone. So quarterback continuing to dwindle down as the 9th round begins. Kyler Murray still sitting around. I mean, if he falls to pick 70, we're going with Kyler Murray all day long. You know, and I mean, Murray, one of those players who has historically had kind of like a end of season slump or a mid-season injury scare that kind of turns into a slump. So I don't mind going after a second quarterback behind Kyler Murray, even in an 8-team league. And the way you just have to look at it, at worst, you're picking up trade value, you know? I would really like Burrow on this team as well. If we could get that Burrow stack with Mixon and with Chase especially. I mean, Mixon's only going to add so much value at the running back position, not being a massive pass catcher, but there's still a little bit of value in that stack. But obviously the Chase stack holds a ton of value. So let's see if Kyler falls here. I mean, I like Eli Mitchell sitting around too, and he's gone. Okay, Mitchell is going to potentially create an issue, but let's go Kyler Murray. Why not? Why not? And there goes Joe Burrow. Okay, so we're not getting Burrow on this team, but we got Murray, so I'm fine with that. And really, the player who stands out to me right now, I mean, I really like Adam Thielen, but DeAndre Hopkins is kind of an interesting move. Let's go with Thielen. And let's just take a breather, and let's see if we can land Hopkins at 86, and that would do it for receivers, right? In full PPR in an 8-team league, I do want to kind of load up at the receiver position. So we've got Chase, we've got Brown, Mike Williams, Chris Godwin, and Thielen. And then outside of that, we've still got 4 bench spots, and there's a lot of running backs we've got queued up that I really like. So, I mean, we're not super heavy at running back, but Mixon, Connor, and Chubb I really like. So let's just take a breather here. Let's see what happens as Kareem Hunt, Drake London, Dak Prescott, Juju, and Devonta Smith are all off of the board to wrap up the 10th. Into the 11th, we've got CEH and Rashad Bateman gone. So let's take a look here. I mean, there's some really good quarterbacks sitting around. There's some running backs I really like in this tier as well. So I'd like to land Hopkins. I wouldn't mind an Elijah Moore, but A.J. Dillon offers just so much value here. And then there's plenty of quarterbacks if we did want to stick a quarterback behind Kyler Murray. For me, it's probably Rodgers or Wilson. And then Stafford, still good value. Then obviously Carr is going to hold some value. So there goes Rodgers. Let's go ahead. Let's go Hopkins. Let's take our last receiver of the night. And then let's see if we can't land A.J. Dillon. As Elijah Moore is taking another really good value. Like I said, I like Moore in that spot over Hopkins as well. But having Kyler, let's keep a little stack in mind. I do like kind of stacking in 8-team leagues as well. All right, so we're going to finish this thing out with one more tight end in either Goddard or Knox. We're just going to roll with one quarterback. Sorry, Matthew Stafford, we're not going to roll with you. But let's finish this out with another tight end and another running back. For me, I mean, I've got all the backs queued up that I like, really. But let's just take a look as Russell Wilson is gone. And into the 12th round, we are with Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, A.J. Dillon, Chase Claypool, and Treylon Burks off of the board. Let's take a look at running back, right? Pollard I like here. I think he's worth a selection. Don't get me wrong. Robinson, with the news that he will not start the season on the PUP list, obviously moving up in ADP. But I like Rashad Penny a lot. I mean, if Penny is healthy, you just look at those last couple games last season, right? If Penny is healthy, he could be the best value selection available. I still like Melvin Gordon. I don't understand why his ADP is so low, even with Javonte there. I like James Cook just as an upside pick. I love Henderson in terms of a committee, and I love Algier. And then wherever Damian Pierce is, I like Pierce as well. But overall, I think Penny is a player that I would choose here. Let's take a look at tight end. I mean, Goddard's still available. I easily think Goddard could break into the top 5. So Goddard or Knox is probably my next move. And then we'll probably just go with running back. And for me, like I said, it's probably Rashad Penny. So Goddard and Penny, probably my top targets. Then outside of that, I would probably revert to Dawson, Knox, and then any of those running backs. I mean, probably Melvin Gordon or Cook for me would be my next top 2 selection, just in terms of potential upside. And then I think this is going to wrap up a really nice roster overall. And I mean, I just want to emphasize getting A.J. Dillon where we got him. I'm a huge fan of A.J. Dillon. I think he's going to have a fantastic season. So I think that was a really good value for how heavy we went at receiver. So I did kind of base this off of like a PPR format. I will admit ESPN kind of confuses me with H2H points PPR mock. There is a little bit of a difference between a regular PPR mock and an H2H mock. So I just kind of base this off of a PPR scoring format in my head. And so I went a little bit heavier receiver, in other words. All right, Dallas Goedert, we'll go and snag him up here. Then we're going to try and target Rashad Penny off of the board next. And we land him, and I love that. I really like this team. I really, really do. We got Kyler Murray as our quarterback, just one QB. Like I said, he could consider going with the second quarterback, maybe over one of those receivers. We're pretty receiver heavy, but we went ahead and we landed Hopkins and Thielen. I think some nice veteran additions to this team. And, we'll just kind of have to rely on Kyler Murray. And, if we had to go to the waiver, then so be it. But nonetheless, I think we could, if you have Kyler and he's healthy, you're starting Kyler Murray, right? Okay, Joe Mixon, James Conner, Nick Chubb as our lead running backs, and A.J. Dillon and Rashad Penny, just really nice value, in my opinion, to finish out that running back room. Receiver, we're absolutely loaded. Jamar Chase, A.J. Brown. I mean, just think about the potential ceiling out of those two guys with Mike Williams. I mean, that ceiling is just crazy with those 3 players on a weekly basis. Chris Godwin, Adam Thielen, and Hopkins. I mean, you think about a fully healthy Godwin and a Hopkins returning from suspension, then a fully healthy Thielen. Some really, really good value at receiver tonight. George Kittle obviously going to offer great value, upside, ceiling at the tight end position, but then we get a nice consistent piece in Dallas Goedert as well. So I love this team from head to toe. I think there's a ton of value at each position. This would be a very scary team to go up against on a weekly basis, barring any injuries. And then we'll just go ahead and we'll finish this thing out with a kicker and defense. Has there not been a single kicker taken? I don't think so, because Justin Tucker is still on the board. He could get taken at any second. Though it looks like most teams are going defense before they go kicker, but then again, not a lot of defense is taken so far. So at this point in the draft, right, I mean, I love the Colts defense. Justin Tucker, Money Mac, Matt Gay, Tyler Bass, Daniel Carlson. Let's take a look at defense very quickly here. I mean, the Chargers, I like just with all those additions. I just hope they can mesh. I almost want to see it on the field. First, I like the Colts. I really do like the Colts. The Patriots, I'm a little worried, but that system is just such a good system. So I would probably be targeting the Colts here. And I do like the Ravens, who just got selected, and then the Buccaneers as well. And then the Niners are always nice. But then, hey, why not the Cowboys? Okay, I just named like every defense available. So I would almost go Justin Tucker, because you can always stream defenses at the end of the day. Don't get me wrong. You can move around kickers all off season long. But just having Justin Tucker and an 8-team league offers great positional value. You're not even going to think about the kicker position all season long. You're going to have a future Hall of Famer plugged in on a weekly basis. So I'll take Tucker there, and look at that. The Colts still fell to us. That is a beautiful way to finish out this draft. I absolutely love this team. If I went into the season with this team in an 8-team league, I would be absolutely ecstatic. So there's your team. Shout out again to our boy Tyson for asking for this draft. Of course, if you guys ever have mock draft requests, please feel free to let me know in the comments down below. I will get it on the schedule. I will get it put together for you guys. And of course, we are doing free subscriber mock drafts nearly every single night of the week here at the channel. Make sure to join our Discord so you can get those mock draft invites, and I'm happy to set up whatever your specific league may be for a subscriber mock draft. They tend to be much more competitive, much more realistic, and almost never have auto picks is the best thing about those subscriber mock drafts. So let me know. We can get some subscriber mock drafts set up with your league format as well. And if you enjoyed today's video, man, hit that like button down below, hit that subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, come join the Catch family. Check out all of our links down below. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, and I appreciate you guys so much, man. There's a final look at the team. Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, James Conner, Nick Chubb, AJ Brown, Mike Williams, Kittle, Godwin, Kyler Murray, Thielen, Hopkins, AJ Dillon, Dallas Goedert, Rashad Penny, Justin Tucker, and the Colts defense. Absolutely love this team from head to toe. What a great mock draft to put in the books. And that'll do it for today's video, man. With that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on The Catch.